With that info in mind, I was lucky enough to get into the Digimon Alysion closed beta, and to say I was ecstatic would definitely be an understatement. Look at me, here's before the beta, and look at me now. For those unfamiliar, Alysion is Bandai Namco's crack at finally putting their physical card game onto mobile devices, and I mean the entire game, not some watered down version like Pokemon Pocket, which isn't a crack at Pokemon, it's a different approach, but I really love the game as it is. More important than that, is this game even any good? Well, let's start from the top with the story. Elysion's story takes place in the same universe as their ongoing webcomic, Digimon Liberator. So far, I haven't seen any direct connection between the stories though, so I would figure this will end up being a standalone story that might be a bit more interesting with knowledge of the webcomic. Our protagonist is Kanata Hondo, who jumps into the online world and is fresh and new at the card game, just like I'm sure Bandai is hoping a lot of players of the game will be as well, which from my experience playing online, I'd say that's a pretty safe bet. In the beta, there were only 2 short chapters, which were all pretty much tutorials, which is definitely good because it's going to be fairly complex for newer players. But really, they only introduced a few characters to the story, and that's about it. There really wasn't much to say here. I think you want to teach people how to play, but also you want to hook them in and intrigue them, and I gotta say they really failed to deliver there. I'm definitely hoping they workshop this a bit, as I think this could be a great opportunity to get people interested not only in the fantastic card game, but the deep lore as well. As far as features and game modes go, the beta was pretty bare bones. There's a daily pack system that you can speed up with items, so 1 a day. A breeding system that you just check every 15 minutes or so and slowly evolve a Digimon. From what I could tell, you have a chance at getting a random card related to whatever Digivolutions you end up getting. Not entirely sure, as I only did it once and there was no notification for it yet. We've got dailies and some event missions for rewards, pack openings which contain the first 3 sets of the game at the moment, just like the global release of the physical game, then deck building and random online matches, and that's it. Based on the survey, I feel like we're lacking a lot of features like AI battles, so the game is very, very bare bones at the moment. Which I might as well go over the game briefly for people unfamiliar, as well as compare it to Bandai's other sim, as they've actually already created one before this. That is the Digimon card game tutorial sim. This was an app developed to help introduce newer players into the game and serves as a great starting tool for anyone that wants to learn how to play. Not only that, it's actually pretty well developed when it comes to the gameplay, animations and whatnot, at least for what it is, which is just meant to teach people. Basically, the game revolves around the memory system. While it's on your side, it is your turn, and cards you use cost memory that will eventually pass turn to your opponent. So in a sense, you can manipulate how many resources you give your opponent. Your life is your security. When attacked, if there's a security effect that will activate, or if it's a Digimon, they'll do battle. And that's as basic as it gets. If you're interested in learning, I definitely recommend downloading the Digimon tutorial app, which when we look at that, you might notice it looks a lot nicer than what we have in Alysion currently. Alysion is severely lacking in character, animation, and polish. Nothing about even the playmat of Alysion really screams Digimon. It's kind of just this generic bland board with not much going on. Not many animations either, meanwhile the tutorial app is booming with them and has fitting sound effects as well. Alysion also just plays like way slower, not just in performance, which from my experience could use some work, but everything you do takes so damn long, from hatching an egg to attacking security. In the tutorial app, everything is really snappy and to the point, while still also looking a lot flashier. Now that's not the perfect direction for Alysion, as that's also a weakness of the tutorial app when we're talking about actually competitive games, because it lacks a lot of confirmation on decisions you do. When it comes to these games, it's pretty easy to make a mistake or misclick, so Alysion at least beats them out there. I will skip over bug issues I ran into though, as it's expected in these early betas. But staying on the theme of polish, I'm really hoping the game just hasn't hit that beautification phase yet, because everything is just really flat. Like how the story is told is just text boxes and some static JPEGs. In 2025, I really only think you can get away with this if your game has been around for a really long time, you know, like FGO, or there's a really compelling story to tell. Again, like FGO. Without that, it'll just end up feeling like a slog or a chore. And then the pulling aspect of the game, which just has a black background, this can't be intentional, right? So I'll give them the benefit of doubt that this is all still a work in progress. Last, let's take a look at the gacha aspect, which is ripping open some card packs. You can choose to open 1 or 10 packs at a time, each containing 6 cards. Every 10 pull will guarantee you at least 1 SR card, and all cards have a chance to have a shiny finish on them. They all look the same currently, but I expect them to have different finishes down the road. The highest rarity would be a secret rare, which is 0.5%, split between the 2 secrets of the set. Some cards also have a chance of being an alternate art, which would be your next rarest type of cards, which are at 2.1%. Secrets can also have alt art versions, so this will be the rarest of the pulls. Outside of this, I don't think it's worth going into too much, as I feel they'll definitely adjust these rates. A great thing about this game compared to Shadowverse Evolve is you can freely break down any of your cards to get resources to craft whatever cards you want. This made it really easy for me to make a bunch of decks that I wanted to with little trouble, so I'm really glad to see this feature. Again though, I won't really get into it as I think they'll end up tweaking the numbers here and make it harder to build as many decks as I ended up doing. And unfortunately, that's about everything the beta had to offer. So now the important question is Digimon Alysion good? Now understand I am heavily biased as I think this game is really fun, but as far as Alysion goes, it is severely lacking in its current state. Visually, everything needs a lot more flavor and overhaul. It's pretty dull to interact with and feels more like a college fan project than an official game people are supposed to spend money on. Which compared to previous fan projects, I'm not even sure Alysion really beats those out yet. I'll flash some old gameplay of DCGO, the current fan sim, and an even older discontinued flashier sim, DCG Evo, which looked and played pretty fantastically. Buggy, but they really nailed the animations and visuals. These sims are also a lot snappier than Alysion, which has a weird input delay to everything and takes such a long time to do anything, as well as far too forgiving of a timer, as I had players just wait timers out and I was at their mercy. Not to mention the dull story that won't really be doing themselves any favors as far as hooking newer players, but I do like that the bones for the entire game is all there. I did have some issues with the actual battles, mostly some small bugs or missing features, like being able to see what Digimon are in a stack, but it all worked pretty seamlessly. Basically what I'm trying to say is that I don't think this game is really ready for release anytime soon. I think and hope that they give this a lot more time to cook and polish, as the game itself means a lot to me and I'd love for other people to try it out for the first time and have a great experience. Until then, I suppose we wait until the next wave of beta tests and see the progress they've made. I really hope they take everyone's feedback to heart and make it the best game it can possibly be, even if that's just wishful thinking. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.